The 9 to 5. Let's talk about it.
So I'm just supposed to sit here for 40 hours a week for the next 45 years of my life?
Only if you live for 45 more years.
Oh, the 9 to 5. I got some good stuff I want to talk about in today's video. I really do. Because the 9 to 5, for some reason in today's society, has got a bad rep. I think there's certain ways to think about it. I think there's certain ways to look at a 9 to 5, and that's kind of what we're going to talk about on today's video. But there's some really important things I want to touch on today.
I'm only 2 years into working my 9 to 5 job, and this is awful. So you're telling me I'm having the Sunday scaries every week to dread 5 days of my life, to then be rewarded with a little thrill on Friday, but then be so tired from working that I pass out at like 10 p.m. Live for Saturdays, love them, but really that is only one full day of fun, because Sunday, have a great Sunday morning, and then Sunday afternoon rolls around and I have the Sunday scaries and I'm dreading my life for the next 5 days. I went to college for 4 years to be stuck in this cycle. What? No, 2 years is enough. So I'm on TikTok and I'll be promoting products and posting my way out of this god-awful cycle. I cannot settle for a life of dread, especially if they want us to retire at 70 now. No. I'm going to be using the internet because I see people making a fuck ton of money on here, and you can be making a fuck ton of money by creating digital products, selling those, and then promoting products that you didn't even make. So yeah, that's my plan. That's what I'm going to be doing to get me out of this god-awful cycle, because I cannot take another second of it.
Okay, well, so she's not wrong. There are a lot of people making good amount of money online. There is, but more importantly, what I want to touch on is this 9 to 5, thought process, this 9 to 5 scenario or situation that we're dealing with right now. And I think, honestly, this is probably something generations have been dealing with for the past 50 years, maybe 40 years. But since the recent rise of social media, how easy it is for someone to talk to their phone and post it online, we're starting to get a much bigger picture of what society seems to think about 9 to 5. Now, this is no norm, right? This thought process of the 9 to 5 has been around for generations, but we're getting more actual people's thoughts than just hearing the 9 to 5 song by Dolly Parton. It's more of what people are actually thinking about, dealing with, and people connecting with each other, because I remember being in this exact situation, guys. When I graduated college with an engineering degree, I got my job, thought I had everything, my whole life planned out. It was like this American dream. I got it made. I went to college. I did what I was supposed to do. I got my job, and my first week on the job, sitting in my cubicle, I looked around and I said, what the hell did I just do? I was miserable. I did that for 3 years. 3 years, I was completely miserable, just not in the right place mindset-wise, but I do ultimately think that was my motivation to really figure out what all else was out there in the world, because that's the problem, right? I think the problem is a lot of people get stuck in this 9 to 5 thought process, and then they lose their focus, or they have no idea what's really out there and what they can do. We'll touch on a little bit more of that in a second. Now, some of the comments here from this girl's video says, having a remote job makes the Sunday scaries a little less scary. And I remember that 100%. I remember having Friday night scaries, right? I remember being Friday night, like going out on the town. I didn't have kids yet, and I was already stressed about going back to work on Monday and hating what I had to go into on Monday. I couldn't even enjoy my entire weekend. It sucked. I absolutely hated it, and that's not a way that we want to live, and there's a way around it. There is. And again, like I said, we'll talk about it. This guy says we need 4-day work weeks. I 100% agree with that. Like, for most jobs out there, especially in the corporate world, if we got rid of the useless, pointless meetings, all the stuff that would need to be done could be done in 4 days or less. Another one here says the worst part is no summers off ever. Now, that's what I want to get into a little bit later in the video, so remember that point, because there is something I'm going to kind of bring this back to full circle. And I think it is pretty important to understand that when you are stuck in that 9 to 5 grind. Now, if we go back to what they were saying, like, one thing that is very important is your sleep. Now, if you guys watched any of my previous videos, you know that I am all about managing money wisely. Being intentional with how and where you spend your money is very important. And listen, one thing I will never go cheap on is my mattress, because let's think about it. You're spending a third of your life sleeping. That's why I want to give a huge shout out to NOLA Mattress for sponsoring today's video. If you're looking to upgrade your sleep, head over to nolamattress.com/JJBuckner and use my code JJBuckner for an extra $50 off your NOLA mattress today. And this is on top of whatever deals are already being offered on site. So real talk, sleep has always been one of my biggest struggles. I've dealt with tossing and turning, waking up exhausted, and just never feeling fully rested. And if you're someone who runs a busy life like me, you know how that trickles down into your mood, your energy, and even how productive you are with your money goals. That's why investing in the right mattress was a no-brainer. After doing my research, I went with NOLA Evolution King mattress because I'm a side sleeper who likes a softer mattress. And let me tell you, this thing has been a total game changer. I fall asleep faster, I stay asleep longer, and I wake up feeling way better than I used to. A few things I really love about NOLA: it's super comfortable, has amazing pressure relief, and it sleeps cool. And unlike a lot of mattresses out there, NOLA uses no fiberglass and no harmful chemicals. No weird off-gassing smell when you set it up either. Everything is made in-house at their Arizona factory, which means the quality control is next level. Plus, it's delivered right to your door in a box, super easy to set up, and if buying a mattress online feels risky, they give you a 120-night sleep trial, over 3 months to try it out risk-free. Plus, a limited lifetime warranty and flexible payment options if you need them. Look guys, sleep impacts everything. I know for me, my sleep has improved massively since switching to NOLA, and that is money well spent. So again guys, if you're ready to upgrade your sleep, make sure you head over to nolamattress.com/JJ Buckner and use my personal code JJ Buckner to take an extra $50 off your NOLA mattress. And again guys, remember this is on top of whatever deals are already being offered on site. So make sure you check them out while you can. You won't regret it.
I've came to the realization a bitch just don't want to work. And don't. I hate it. I don't know how people can sit at a job for working 8 hours a day. I don't even know how motherfuckers can work 40 hours a week because I hate it. I literally hate it, especially working for somebody else. Like, if my job offer VTO, we'll be taking it quickly. I don't care because I don't be having the mental capacity to sit at somebody else's job for 8 hours a day. I don't. I have very low attention span, and half of the time I just don't be paying attention. Like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to work 5 days a week for 8 hours a day. I can't. When my job offer VTO, I take it. Now I do go to work now, so I don't get in the comments being cute, but it's hard for me, and I don't want to work, these long hours. Working 8 hours a day, it's not giving for me personally. Like, I need something else. Like, I'm dreading. Like, I know I can't be the only person that feel like this, but working is so overrated. I'm sick of it. Like, I feel like this new generation, none of us don't want to work for real like our moms and, moms and dads and grandparents did. They went to work, but nowadays we don't want to work. I want to make money another way because just having to just deal with people, especially if you want customer service, dealing with customer service, it's a lot. Like, it's just so much, y'all. Like, I just don't know what I want to do. I hate working. I don't enjoy it. I want to make money. I want to make money in other ways. I don't want to go work for nobody. I don't want to clock nobody else's time. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know, y'all. I got to figure this out because, this ain't going to work much longer. Like, it's not going to work. I am tired.
Okay, let's think about that for a second, right? So, yeah, like, work's not always going to be fun. I mean, I'll be honest with you guys. There's times I don't want to film videos. In my mortgage business, there's times I don't want to have phone calls with, certain buyers. But it is what it is, right? Like, right now, I'm utilizing my income potential at my age to also minimize my lifestyle spending-wise so that I can invest for my future to hit true financial freedom, which is having my investments pay for my lifestyle so I can choose to never have to work again. That's the ultimate goal. The ultimate goal is to get us to that path of financial freedom. And the less you're willing to spend, the more you're willing to focus on income, well, the quicker you're going to get to financial freedom. But the problem is I feel like today's society with these younger generations, and mine included, the millennials and Gen Zers, is that people just all of a sudden just don't want to work at all, right? They just don't want to work. They're like, I'm tired of it. This sucks. But there is a time in life where you have to put in the grind. Now, to bring this full circle, I think the biggest part here is trying to figure out what you want to do that is at least going to bring you a little bit of fulfillment or enjoyment, so that way you are excited to go to work on Monday. Because let's be honest, there's times that I said I don't maybe want to film, but the overall aspect of YouTube, when I hop on my financial coaching calls, when I see the amazing comments or someone messaging me talking about they're debt free now, like that stuff is rewarding, right? It's exciting. But then there are times when I love filming, and it's just like it's an up and down roller coaster that I think is life's always going to be like that. But the real big attention to the detail there is when you're on the low and you don't want to do anything, you don't want to work, is what can you do to get back to that high, right? You just got to keep pushing. But I think the biggest thing here is, yes, you may have to start out on something that you don't like, but the biggest key there is, since you're making money now, don't inflate your lifestyle to get you stuck at that job that you hate. Because the more freeing you get with your lifestyle, meaning you're not taking on debt, you're 100% debt free, minus maybe your mortgage or your rent, and then you can have options, right? Maybe you're working at a job that's making you $80,000 a year to 9 to 5, but you absolutely despise it. But you can go be let's say a veterinarian tech, or I don't know, that literally just came out of nowhere. But there's something else that you want to go do that you think you would be more enjoyable, that you never even thought about trying. Well, if you have the flexibility because you don't owe all these people money, now you can take that flexibility and go try that. Go take the pay cut, see if you like the job, or go job shadow. Or go in a sales role where the more harder you grind and work, the more you're going to be rewarded for it through income. Then you can really move forward the needle on that financial freedom block. That's kind of what I'm doing in my sales job, right? Like, I love the mortgage industry and I love helping people buy their homes and talk to them about their personal finances and coach them along that way. But I also am making a decent amount of money doing that I can use to funnel into my investments to reach that financial freedom number that I have set for my family and I.
Yeah, so I think I have officially decided to stop working 9 to 5, 5 days a week. I think I'm done. Like, we're told by like our parents and like people older than us that like this is just life, this is reality, and like you just have to accept it. Like, you're gonna work 5 days a week most of the day, and then you're gonna retire in your 60s. And fuck that. And like, even if you get to retire when you're 60, like, yay, like, you're old, lazy, smelly, your dick barely works, you're practically becoming Joe Biden. So yeah, fuck that. Thankfully and kind of unthankfully, my like best trait and maybe worst is I don't give a fuck. Like, I'll go sit on unemployment until I figure out something else I want. And when that dries up, then I'll just fucking figure it out. Worst comes to worst, I'll go bankrupt and I'll fucking move somewhere way cheaper than this country, close to the water, in a little fucking hut. But I'm 26, I got 4 years. So if I'm 30 and I still feel like this, then fuck, I'm cooked.
All right. Yeah. I think it's also a big struggle for the younger generation right now because of the time we're living in. Like, the economy's not the greatest, let's be honest. Like, it's very expensive to live. It's a very tough time to find a good, decent job. And that's why I think side hustles are also a big part of today's culture right now, is because you're also getting the chance to maybe try and make some money online, or maybe you're wanting to start a handyman business or some sort of service-based business, or if you're a developer and you're wanting to start some app or whatever it is on the side of your 9 to 5, like whatever it is. There's so many options out there. It just takes, I think, the motivation up front to go search, right? Because like when I graduated college, I didn't know anything about any of this, which this has all kind of evolved over the past 13 years or however long it's been since I graduated college. But I think that's the biggest part, is searching, or being on the continuous outlook of what's out there. Seeing different options, having conversations, shaking hands with different people, because you never know what other people are doing out there, where you may stumble across and be like, oh, that sounds kind of interesting. I may want to try that out. And if you haven't gone into massive debt, you're not spending everything and putting everything on your credit card to live a lifestyle that you need to show all your friends how successful you are, well, then you can take that flexibility from not doing that and go try something new. And who knows, maybe you're going to find your dream job. And just also a little fair warning here, guys, from me being in my mid 30s now, there's nothing out there that's perfect. And I think when people come to the realization of that there's always going to be something crappy about whatever you do that brings you income, I think that settles a lot of despair and uncomfort. Like, you have to know whatever you're doing in your everyday life for work, some part of that's going to be pretty shitty. It's just you got to find something that at least gives you a little bit of joy, something you at least have some sort of passion about. That really is the game changer.
My problem with working a 9 to 5 job is pretty simple. When I was an engineer, no matter what I did, no matter how hard I worked, I made the same amount of money, around $300 a day. Like, even if I had created some life-changing invention, something just insane that was a big change for the world and helped people's lives get better, I still would have made $300 for that day of work. The only thing else I would have gotten besides that is what, like a pat on the back or something, a high five maybe? If the business I worked for, over whatever period, doubled its profit, doubled its revenue, and doubled its profit, I'd have got what, like a cost of living adjustment, so like a 2 or 3% raise. I think this is the most important part. If I wanted to double my salary, if that was my life's mission, my life's goal, I only had 2 options. Work more hours, if that was allowed, or wait 10 to 20 years. There's no other options. And I guess the third option could have been job hop a bunch until I finally doubled my salary. But again, that would take several years. My point being, in all of this, is that you just don't have control. You can't directly decide to double your salary. It's either up to other people, or you gotta wait a really long time. And even then, it's not guaranteed. That's why I'm no longer an engineer. And that's my issue with a 9-to-5 job.
That's a really great point that he makes, and that was something that I struggled with myself, because I think that also depends on what type of person you are. Some people are okay with going into their 9-to-5, they sit at their desk, they do their task that they're given for that day or that week, they get done, they get their salary, and they're not looking to increase it anymore. Would more money be nice? Yes, but there are some people out there who are not willing and don't want to put in the grind to get that extra income. What he's talking about is like, he has that, I can tell, that drive mentality, right? He's like, if I created something to help this company, 2x the revenue or whatever it is, that he should be rewarded for that. Now, what that sounds like to me is that is an entrepreneurial mindset in that guy's mind. Now, what he would probably do really well at is either being an entrepreneur or working in a sales commission-based job. So you're getting rewarded for the more success you have in that role. And I think there is a certain type of person that fits that job role. It's not for everybody. A 100% commission job is definitely not for everyone. But if you have that mindset, you're watching this video, that may be something to look into. Now, I'll be honest with you, it's a tough job, especially starting out. But if you're willing to put in, a couple years of grinding for almost nothing, and then I'm telling you, it's like after this 2-year mark or whatever it is, that stuff when it really starts to happen, then that may be your type of role. And if that's something that you struggle with, like he mentioned, that was also something I struggled with as an engineer.
You work 8 hours to live 4. You work 6 days to enjoy 1. You work all year just to take a week or 2 vacation. You work all your life to retire in old age and contemplate only your last breaths. Eventually, you realize that life is nothing but a parody of yourself, practicing your own oblivion. We have become so accustomed to material and social slavery that we no longer see the chains. As Tim Ferriss once said, the 9-to-5 grind is a relic of a bygone era, one that promotes time for money trades instead of creativity and freedom. Why work 40 years to have the time and financial freedom to live how you want, when you can live differently now? Our culture encourages endless labor in exchange for a vague promise of future enjoyment. Yet time is the only resource we can't reclaim. This is why you need to escape this system today or be forever enslaved.
So I think the biggest thing here, people, is I'm not necessarily on the team of like you can't work a 9-to-5, because I do think some 9-to-5s are great and they work great for certain people. It's also an income generating job that can give you the lifestyle that you want, right? Like if you spend your money wisely, maybe the 9-to-5 is going to work for you for the first 10 years until you figure out where you want to be or what you want to do next for an income producing career that is a little different from a 9-to-5. And it may take some time to get there, but the cool part is if you're lucky enough to get a 9-to-5 at a young age and you can work this lifestyle, and yes, I'm also fully for living your life now, right? Living your life to travel, see the world, do whatever you can, and maybe that means finding the right 9-to-5 that will let you do that. But I think that's what it comes down to, is you got to find a happy medium until you can get your lifestyle how you want it and figure out what that end goal is, right? Figure out what that end goal is to get to the financial freedom so then you can truly live life however you want to live it.